they picked me up probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And by the time we were in Arizona going through the desert, I was hit with the worst homesickness. I mean, literally, you know, the kind where you just want to fold into yourself. It's just awful. And I turned to Lita, I said, I don't think I could do this. I mean, I've never been away from home. And she turned and she goes, I said, I'm so homesick, it was painful. And she goes, I'm homesick too, but when I come back, I want to be somebody. And that was what she said. And at that moment, like that, the homesickness went away.
All right, hello daddies and hello moms. Are we ready for the cherry bomb?
I'm your cherry bomb, baby.
It is my great pleasure to be sitting here with the rock and roll icon, actress, and artist, Cherie Currie.
Thanks, Bobby. Thank you so much. Oh, hot. Nice to be here.
You look fabulous. Thank you for being here
honey.
today.
Thank you so much.
So you've been a rock and roll royalty for decades now.
I'm turning 64 next month.
I would not have believed that.
And I recorded Cherry Bomb when I was 15.
So like being so young in the rock and roll world, like were you always interested in rock and roll growing up?
It was Bowie that changed everything for me. I was I'm a twin, and my older twin, 2 minutes older, was a very popular one. And I was just very meek and surfer chick, long hair. And I went to the boat to see David Bowie, Diamond Dogs tour. I think I was 14, just turned 14. And I watched him on that stage, and just something happened. It was like, that's what you're gonna do. So I went from this meek child to, it just changed my life. And
that was the turning point.
Huh?
That was the turning point.
It was. Well, that's when, and we all have it, that little voice in your head that tells you, like, told me to pick up a chainsaw. Come on, man. Honestly, never would I have thought of picking up a chainsaw, but that voice said, you can do this. And that is exactly what happened at the Universal Amphitheater David Bowie Diamond Dogs concert.
You know exactly the pinpoint moment that it happened. I love that.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So when did you start to pursue music and like go into it? Like what made you pursue it?
Well, I think I was 14. I was going to the Sugar Shack, going to Rodney Bingenheimer's English Disco, where at the Sugar Shack is where I met Kim Fowley and Joan Jett. They approached me and asked if I could sing or play an instrument, and I said I could sing a little. But, such a different time in the 70s. I mean, it was such an amazing time to grow up. But I loved music. I loved Elton John, Alice Cooper, Bowie, of course, Susie Quatro, Led Zeppelin. I mean, back then, radio, instead of having a punk rock station radio played every kind of genre, music, any genre of music. And it was such a simpler time, and we got all the best, the very, very best of the best played to us on the radio, because we only had 1 or 2 stations. Yeah, so it was great.
The music was amazing, so.
Yes. Even John Denver, Barry Manilow,
I still listen to them too.
Still love them, yeah.
So when the Runaways formed, you guys took off really fast, hit the ground running.
Yes. Well, Mickey Steele, who ended up being in the Bangles, she was the lead singer at that time. So it was Joan and Mickey and Sandy, and Mercury didn't want her as the lead. So that's why they went on the lookout and found me. And literally from the time I did my audition, where they wrote Cherry Bomb for the audition, because they had asked me to pick a Suzi Quatro song to audition with, and I picked Fever.
Oh, I love that song.
And I'd never sang before, besides with my twin sister and my dad for corn. Like, my dad, we would go to like the corn stand, and Marie and I would sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and they'd give us corn. Not that we needed that, but I mean, that was all I'd done as a singer. So I didn't really know how to sing. Never been really in front of an audience or anything like that.
Well, you fake it till you make it, and you certainly did make it.
Fake it till you make it, and that's what I did. I pretended I was David Bowie. Joan pretended she was Suzi Quatro. Lita pretended she was Richie Blackmore. And, until we found out who we were. We were too young, and we were thrown. It happened so fast. So I'll never forget Denny Rosenkrantz, who was the guy that was signing us, and he came to this terrible, dilapidated mobile home that was sitting in a parking lot with dog poop on the ground. It was horrendous. And every time we'd walk in, we'd have to pick up dog poop.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. And I'll never forget us doing a few songs and Denny turning to Kim and going, this is it. And from that moment on, it was crazy, really crazy.
And you had a really iconic look. What inspired the whole, the blonde hair, the haircut, the bustier? Well, it looked amazing. It was so groundbreaking.
Well, the thing is I took the Pinups album, and I took it to a hairdresser, and I said, I want it like that, but where I can part it, because I'm not going to walk around with a David Bowie stick. And that's how the shag happened for me. I just took the album and said, cut my hair, and yeah, that's how that happened.
I was just wondering if it was like any inspiration or something, because you looked so good, and it was like nothing anybody's ever like worn before, and you were so young, wearing such like beautiful bustiers and stuff.
Thank you. I mean, it was all new.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's stuff that's never been done before, and like an all-girl rock band. That was also something that was like groundbreaking at the time as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Of course. So what do you remember about like touring for the first time?
I'm sorry?
What do you remember about like touring for the first time, the concerts?
Oh, Lordy Lord. Well, I'd never been away from home. And I'll never forget, we were in a mobile home, and they picked me up probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And by the time we were in Arizona going through the desert, I was hit with the worst homesickness. I mean, literally, the kind where you just want to fold into yourself. It's just awful. And I turned to Lita. I said, I don't think I could do this. I mean, I've never been away from home. And she turned and she goes, I said, I'm so homesick. It was painful. And she goes, I'm homesick too, but when I come back, I want to be somebody. And that was what she said. And at that moment, like that, the homesickness went away. Thank God.
That just gave me goosebumps, honestly.
Yeah, it was like, okay, now I understand that we have a job to do.
Yeah, that really does put it into perspective, honestly.
Right, it did. Very much. I really, and I thank her for that to this day, because I was in such agony and fear that, I mean, I literally would have like jumped out of that motorhome at the next, to get gas and ran. I mean, I was that afraid, but it all worked out.
I was gonna say, I'm sure a lot of people are glad that you did not abandon ship at the gas station.
Me too. Thanks.
So what inspired you to go solo after a few years working with the girls?
Well, Jackie in Japan, everything had started to disintegrate because, I mean, again, we were just kids. I mean, there was no mediator, there was no one to lean on or for us to be able to talk to. There wasn't anyone, a gal, that could help us work out our differences because, of course, me being the lead singer, I was on the cover of the magazines and the girls really resented that. They resented so much, which was out of my control. But with Jackie, when she slit her wrists in Japan after her Thunderbird bass had broken on stage and they shipped her off, when I got back and we hired Vicky Blue, Lita has scared the holy fucking shit out of me all my life. And she still does. I mean, she was tough, man. I mean, that girl, you would not want to go up against Lita Ford. And we were doing a photo session for the next record with Vicky. And I had gotten there before time. I helped set up the shots, all this. They were late, which is what they continuously lie about. Barry Levine was the guy that shot the album covers, Queens of Noise and this one. And I had my twin and I shared a car. I mean, we didn't make any money in the Runaways. Nothing. I mean, nothing. I think we all, when we got off tour in Japan, I think we were all given $1,700. That's the first time we were ever paid. We were never paid for merchandise, for anything. Kim would continuously say, this is, we got to pay back the record company. But of course he was ripping us off. Everyone was ripping us off. But I had to leave because my twin had to go to acting class. And I went in to change, and Lita kicked the door in and shoved me up against a wall and said, you need to choose between your family and the band. And at that point, she had me so horrified, and I just said, I'm done. And I went home and I was done. And it was just not because I didn't love the girls, but we were so tired. I know I was tired. We never got a break. If we weren't rehearsing, we were in the studio, we were on tour, or we were doing photo sessions. We never, ever, ever got a break.
But you were all still so young at the same time, so there were no child labor laws making it so you could take the breaks that you deserved?
No, there was nothing like that.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, bottom line is that I was too tired to even make a rational decision.
Yeah.
And all I knew is I was afraid of her, I was done, and I was happy about it. Even though, I couldn't listen to the Runaways music for 20 years after that, because I was so mortified by all of it. And I also thought we had all been but forgotten, which turned out not to be true.
I was going to say, that is so far from the truth.
Yeah, I started listening to the music and watching videos in 97.
Okay.
1997, and I went, whoa, the five of us were pretty good. There was a kind of a magic, I think, with the five of us. I never stepped on a stage with Vicky, ever. So the five original people, people continuously say, well, Mickey Steele was in it, but she really wasn't in the Runaways. The original five was Jackie, Lita, Joan, me, and Sandy.
You said you didn't listen to the music for 20 years after. How much time went by before you reconnected with the girls?
Well, I had reconnected with Joan. Of course, Sandy and I were like this forever. I mean, I never did a show or anything without her.
Okay.
And I included her in everything I could. I loved her so much. I mean, we were such good friends. Even when she was in prison, I had power of attorney for Sandy. But Joan and I reconnected about '96 when Kenny and Joan wanted to sue Kim Fowley and Mercury Records and Polygram for residuals and to get the name. And for 50%, I paid 50% of all of my royalties for that. Law firm to do what they did. And I'll tell you, it hurts. 50%'s a lot.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting the name, which was supposed to belong to me and Lita and Sandy and Joan, but it turns out just Joan and Kenny took that, which I still have an issue with, because that's the only reason why I signed the contract, because he said you need to own the name. So, you know, there's still so much kind of, you know, ridiculous bullshit that still goes on. But at least we get royalties now.
Yeah. Well, thank God for that.
And you know I moved Kim into my house when he was dying.
I didn't know.
Yes, I took care of him towards the end of his life.
Damn, girl, you got a heart of gold over there.
Huh?
I said you got a heart of gold over there. A heart of gold.
Well, you know, I have to say, I think it was more for a selfish reason, because I loathed him so much. I hated him, and I knew that all that hurt was me. So I decided that I was going to take care of him. And in the end, when he passed, I loved him. And I still love him. And we made a great record together. Him and Lita, myself, and my son. And he never lived to see it come out. He died before that. But I will tell you, it's so nice to think about. I still think, boy, you really ripped us off. But in the end, you know, I love the man. And that benefits me. Because there's nothing worse than hating someone. I mean, it destroys your life.
Yeah, it takes over.
So I decided to change that. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, it's a good mindset to be in, for sure. So after you went solo, you also did a record with your sister. How was making music with her? I was listening to some of your songs. It reminds me a little bit of ABBA. I hope that doesn't offend you or anything, but it like gives off ABBA vibes.
Well, I kind of call it a Toto album because, of course, Toto, my twin married Steve Lukather, but all the guys from Toto played on that record. And Jay Winding, who produced it, you know, he didn't care what my thoughts were or feelings. I mean, the album cost $250,000.
Wow.
And back in 1980, that's a lot of money. And my twin, even though she thought she wanted to be on stage, like I was born to be, once that record was done, Steve and her called me and said, you know what? Marie's gonna stay home and have babies. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you, I mean, honest to God, excuse my French. And I knew that was the end of my career because Capitol was never going to, even though I went in the studio to make another record, they dropped me because, I mean, there was no way I could make back that money. So the thing I will tell you, as much as you love family, don't ever go into business with them, especially when it's something that you're born to do. Please don't, because it's a big mistake. And that voice in my head, you know, was saying this is not good. I mean, it cost me my career is what it did. It cost me my career. But, you know, I'm still here. Yeah. And I love my sister, you know, but...
as long as there's no bad blood, as long as there's no bad blood.
No.
So what made you also, like, further into an acting career as well?
Yeah.
You were in the movie Foxes with Jodie Foster. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
What?
Can you tell me a little bit about Foxes?
Well, I was playing a place called the Golden Bear in Huntington Beach, and a guy named Dennis Brody, who was an agent, happened to be at the show, and he asked if I was interested in acting, and I just turned around and said, well, I consider myself an entertainer, so why not? And he sent me out on Rock and Roll High School, I think, and Foxes, and I got both parts. I worked very hard to get Foxes, though, I will tell you. I mean, multiple screen, auditions and everything, but I wanted to work with Jodie so bad.
Yeah.
I still love her, that I got Foxes, and I mean, I was very lucky, because that was I beat out Christy McNichol and a couple other really well-known stars.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Christy McNichol's a big one to beat out at that time.
Huh?
Christy McNichol's a big one to beat out at that time.
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, I was very lucky. And Annie was supposed to be a big, busted redhead with wavy hair and full lips. And I was absolutely, in fact, when I went to read for this, and of course, at that time, it was called 20th Century Foxes. And of course, I'm thinking, they're all foxes. They have to be really pretty. And I walked in, and all these beautiful, like, model girls. And I sat there, and I'm wearing my little, like, football shirt, jeans, and do you remember those high heel? I mean, they were like, they were tennis shoes, but they had big,
A platform?
Platform tennis shoes. And I'm wearing that, and I'm saying, I don't have a chance in hell to get this part. And I dropped the script on the table, and I walked out. And as I was walking down Sunset, that voice said, turn around, go back. I didn't understand why I would say that. I never thought in a million years I could ever get this part. But it said, go back, and I did. That voice, as long as it tells you positive things, will save your life, and it will keep you on your path in life. It's when you don't believe that voice, because we're all insecure, It's when you don't believe that voice that your life really stalls. Listen to that voice. It's never been wrong, ever, for me.
Does anybody have any questions for Cherie? I feel like I've been hogging her a little bit. Right here.
Hi, Angel.
I'm Angel Rosso. Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I actually have a couple different questions. First off, let's see, how can I put this? Since you started so early in the business at 15 years old, 14, but 15 years old.
15 years.
Do you ever feel like there's anything that you missed along the way that you wish you would have been able to do?
You mean like normal stuff?
Yeah, like kid stuff.
Yes. In fact, of course, I missed the high school graduation. I don't even have a 10th grade education, because I went on tour, I think, 3 months into my 10th grade education. And I would think, well, I missed the Mulholland Drive necking with boys.
Of course.
All those little tiny little trivial things, missed prom, but the thing is those are minuscule. What I got was a worldly education, and I was very lucky, very, very lucky to be in the Runaways, and to be able to get, at that young age, to be able to get that kind of.
Now, did you feel at all at 15 years old, at such a young age, you said you were not getting paid the way you were supposed to, and do you feel that they were really taking it, and I know you wrote a book about this.
Yes.
So, did you feel a lot of resentment about being taken advantage of and exploited like that as a child towards those people?
You know what, to be honest with you, we were so busy all the time, we didn't even get an opportunity. Jackie Fuchs, and even my father really wanted to get some answers. And Kim turned around and said, look, if you guys want to do this, I'm just going to walk. Because we signed to Mercury through Kim Fowley. And our parents had to sign for us. So Kim just would turn around and say, hey, if you're going to give me shit, man, I'm just walking and you're done. So, I mean, that's how he put the kibosh on the parents trying to find out where the money went, all that. And of course, us being so young, we would just freak out. Oh, you can't take our career. You know, it was kind of the perfect storm. And he got away with it because of that. Him and a lot of other people.
And not to hog the whole panel here, but one last question. As you moved on in your life into films, then what was your favorite project to work on? Like, what was your favorite movie to do? Your favorite role?
Foxes, for sure.
Foxes, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. And you look so hot. Beautiful. Beautiful girl.
So you also mentioned chainsaws. You're a chainsaw artist. How did you come into that?
Again, it's that voice.
It's such a unique thing to come up to, though, and be like, maybe I can pick up a chainsaw.
Well, I started off when I was a drug counselor for teens. I started off drawing. I went to painting, and I had painted a steer skull on an oak tabletop that I saw in the trash down the street.
Cool.
But and my painting had become very good. I mean, two-dimensional shading, all that. But I just wanted to carve, do a two-dimensional carving out. I mean, I was moving in that direction. And so I started doing relief carving. And then I happened to be going to the beach one day on the back of a motorcycle up Canaan Dune Road in Los Angeles. And there were two guys chainsaw carving at the side of the road. We didn't stop, but I couldn't get it out of my head. And every morning I got up, this voice said, you have to go back. I'd go to bed, this voice said, you have to go back. I'd get up in the morning, you have to go. 2 weeks of this, I finally said, fine, just shut up, And I drove over there and I walked into this gallery and, I didn't know what I was to expect, but I mean, there were beautiful mermaids and dolphins and even a gorilla and tikis and everything you could think of. And I mean, beautifully done. And and I was stunned because I kind of expected, kind of like the lumberjack squared bears and not anything like what I saw. And this voice said, you can do this. I just was like, whoa. And so I asked the owner, I said, can you take me on and apprentice or whatever? And he wanted to see my art, and I brought him some of the relief carving, and he said, sure, I'll teach you. But the thing is you really can't, even though I teach, I can teach you how to carve a bear, but they taught me how to not kill myself with the chainsaw, and for that I am forever grateful. So I immediately started winning awards, and I competed in 2005 and placed in two of the, I came in second place in one of the big ones, and then seventh place in the one in the world. So wow. I mean, I really.
I mean, your work is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Do you like?
And the last big carving I did, right when COVID finished, was a chief, Indian chief. And you know what? What I'm most proud of is he has a great ass. Even though I haven't touched a man in 15 years, I remembered. And anyone that wants to see a great ass on an Indian, come to my table. I'll show you. Great ass.
I will be there after the show.
Because you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, with chainsaw carving, you can't fix it. You have to recarve everything. So, and I think that's what I love so much about it, because that's why I've lost my ability to multitask, because I can't talk to you and sign my name, because it's such a dangerous thing when you're chainsaw. Sometimes that blade is this close to my face, so the thing is you need to be able to concentrate fully, or you're going to get hurt. And I thank God I've never gotten hurt.
Yeah, and you said you've been doing it for this long. Good for you.
Well, I did fall from a scaffold once and fell on my face. But otherwise, I've never been injured by the saw.
Do you sell any of your pieces, or did you ever think of opening a store?
I've done thousands and thousands of pieces, but now I just do special orders. If somebody wants something specific to them, I will do it, even though it's getting cooler now, because once you hit menopause, you can't control your heat anymore. So summertime working for me. Yeah. Summertime is very hard for me to carve in the heat. But so winter's now coming, and I'm going to do a few pieces that I want to do that make me happy, and I'll put them up for sale. But otherwise, they can reach me at www.chainsawchick.com and or Facebook or whatever, and I carve what you want, anything you want, and I can do anything. The only thing that I'm asking, people really wanted me to do their deceased pets, and I did many, but I don't want to do that anymore. It's too much pressure, and I just lost my dog of 15 years a couple of weeks ago. And
I'm sorry.
So that's thank you. Thanks, Bobby. But that's the one thing that I don't really like doing, because the pressure to make it exactly like their lost love it breaks my heart into a million pieces. So otherwise I could do anything, and I think I've done just about everything. I have to do a Sasquatch. I don't have to do a Sasquatch. Oh, he better have a little hairy, but it'll be a nice shaped butt. Nice shape. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions for Cherie? Right here.
Boy, aren't you a strapping, good-looking dude?
No, but thank you.
No, you are. Are you out of your flippin' mind?
I'm trying
gorgeous.
I'm trying to be humble.
Well, anyway, we don't need to be humble for you. You're good looking.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Very much. And coming from you,
your parents mixed a good batch.
Coming from you, I'm gonna have a hard time getting in my house later, because you just inflated my head like 10 times. So, but I appreciate it. But I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the Q&A. I'm not sure if you answered this yet. But what did you think of the movie, The Runaways?
Oh, the movie. Well, I mean, I wish. Look, I don't want to complain about anything, because how blessed I am to have a movie made about my life and Joan's and everybody else's. I wish they would have stuck with the stories more, the real stories, and I wish they would have kept the timing the way it was originally. I don't think it helped the movie, but the acting and Dakota and Kristen and Michael Shannon were out of this world. The best thing that happened, I think, that came out of that movie, the producer, Bill Polad, he was the money guy. Bill has produced so many movies. Wonderful guy. We were on set at a supermarket where Dakota is very stoned playing me. And I think she was like at the 12th take, which infuriated Bill. Floria Sigismonte, she just kept shooting it over and over, and he goes, you know what, I think I want to be a director. I think I want to direct. And I said, would you just direct this film, please? But he said, no, I really do. And I said, do it, Bill. Do it. And next thing I know, I'm sitting on an airplane and there is a movie, Love and Mercy, the Beach Boys movie. Bill Pohlad directed it. It's one of the best documentary, it's not even a documentary, it's a feature film. And that is what came out of the Runaways movie, was Bill Pohlad decided to direct and directed one of my favorite films of all time. And so I look at that, I'm just so happy for Bill. I'm happy for us because we got a great director now out of that film. His frustration caused him to become a director. Look at how great that is. Yeah.
So, I mean, you said you were on set, so that was going to be my follow-up question.
Dakota would not shoot if I wasn't on set.
Okay.
They did not like that.
That was actually going to be my follow-up question if Dakota reached out to you. And
yeah, they did not like that at all,
Okay.
especially Floria. She, you know, or some of the producers, but that was something Dakota would not. She, either I was there, yeah.
That's awesome.
Which was great because the one scene where we're signing the contract, she's right-handed, I'm left-handed. And I just said, oh, by the way, I'm left-handed, upside down left-handed. And she went, oh, great. So she went and reshot that. It was just important to her that I was there, and she was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And one quick final question. Being that you paved the way for, you know, female lead singers in rock and everything, I'm just curious what you think of today's current crop of female lead singers in rock and roll and heavy metal, and do you have any favorites?
Baby, I am a classic rock chick. I don't listen to new music.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just listen to what keeps me feeling good, and that's the 70s music. Yeah, 60s, 70s, some 80s, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
handsome.
And I can't wait to see you tonight perform with American
Yay,
Grim.
please
That's gonna be
come
awesome.
tonight. I'm playing, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so do you know what time you're playing tonight?
Huh?
Do you know what time you're playing tonight?
I'm going on pretty early. I think I'm going on like 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. We should all be there tonight, for Cherie.
Please come. The band is supposed to be amazing, and they do a light show too. It should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so any final questions for our fabulous Cherie here?
I love you all. Thank you so much.
Bianca has a question.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We
Yeah.
really appreciated
If
having
it
you
wasn't
here.
for them, I wouldn't be here.
And that's like, it's so great of you to like acknowledge that kind of stuff, because there's like famous people who couldn't care less, you know? But
If
when
it
you acknowledge
wasn't
the fans,
for
like,
you, none of us would be here. Not Joan or Lita or anybody. Thank you. You are the rock stars. You are the rock stars. I love you. Thank you so
we
much.
love you too. Everybody come to see Cherie tonight, 7:30, downstairs.
Hi, this is Maisie Richardson-Sellers, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be a legend and hit that like button, and most importantly, have fun and follow your fandom.